Hey, Marty, and
Hey,
hey,
Jim.
Scranton. It's great to talk to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
I'm just a boring lawyer, but my friend, childhood friend Greg Daniels, whom I've been friends with since we were 4 years old, created The Office and was really kind in naming the Jim Halpert character after me. When he first called me up and said he was naming a character after someone in the BBC show The Office, I was kind of worried, and I said, "You did what?" And he said, "No, I think you're going to like the character," and I did. And another friend of ours growing up is a guy named Andy Bernard who lives in New Hampshire, and I think it's much more interesting for you guys to talk to the real Andy Bernard from The Office, Ed Helms. And Ed, thank you so much for making time after a busy filming schedule to join us today.
Well, hey
Hey,
guys.
hey.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be here.
Ed, as we start out, how would Andy Bernard be dealing with this crazy 2020 year with COVID and a nutty election?
Andy would take the quarantining and the lockdown very, very hard because he's such an extroverted person. He needs a lot of like stimulation. So being home alone would drive him nuts very quickly. But I think he would then transition into finding all kinds of new outlets. He would probably record tons of new a cappella jams by himself, multi-tracking on his computer. He might even get into bread baking. That's kind of a thing that a lot of people are getting into. He'd go on YouTube, learn how to bake bread. And of course, Andy doesn't do anything half-assed. Like he would suddenly have 500 loaves of bread in his home and have no idea what to do with it. What else? Oh, he would probably stage a production of Sweeney Todd in his apartment in which he played all the parts.
Yeah.
Would, I think, be an incredible thing to behold. I mean, and all of this is to say that he might slowly be losing his mind.
The Office had that special warmth, and one of the things I loved about it as compared to the British series was that all the characters, almost, with a few exceptions, but all the major characters had very good hearts at the bottom of their zaniness, and the energy from that was great. And I'm curious about what it is that draws you to Scranton and what your experiences have been with Scranton.
Wow, there's a lot in that question. And so for starters, let me talk about Scranton for a second, because I've only been there one time, and it was during the Office convention, which I don't even remember what year that was. I think it was 2008 or so. And I just was blown away by the warmth of this town that embraced us as a cast. Like we were the Beatles. I mean, we couldn't even walk down the street. People would just go bananas. And I don't know, there's just something really, really picturesque and warm, intrinsic to the city of Scranton. We had such a positive experience. And I think that the show also exemplifies that spirit. There's a reason that the show fits so nicely in the city of Scranton. And it's because, like you were saying, Jim, as much as the characters would spin out and go crazy and have altercations or conflicts with each other, there was always this sense that that everyone, that there was kind of this love, that there was a sense of community that kind of undergirded all of it. And I really believe that it's that sort of intangible spirit that is why the show has endured the way it has, and it's why young people who weren't even born when the show started, I mean, these little kids come up to me now in the airport and they're like, Andy Bernard, and I'm like, how do you know who Andy Bernard is? But it just resonates with so many people because it's kind.
Could you describe for our audience what draws you to Joe Biden, speaking of warm and human connectedness? A lot of people are from his hometown. A lot of people on this broadcast actually grew up in the very same neighborhood.
I don't know if there's some sort of magic juju in him being from Scranton, but there is some connection I see between that spirit of kindness, stability, and really just fundamental decency that I perceive Joe Biden to really represent, and to be a sort of a son of Scranton in that way. And he's been around a long time, and the people that know him the best seem to be the people that admire him the most.